Steppin on the beach, the only place to read your emails and tweets. It's Thursday, August 6th. I'm JD Skeets, and alongside me here on the sand, ready to crack a cold one, it's Tass Mellis.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Tassie. We got the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo.
Hey-yo.
The international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Leigh Ellis.
Friends.
Leigh, and last but not least, making the magic happen, it's JD.
Hello.
There he is. And here we are. Long time no podcast, boys. What's it been? 12 hours since we jumped on Zoom to do a podcast? Yeah, I hope you guys are all downloading and listening, or maybe even watching the Bubble Wrap recap podcast that we've been doing every night with the seeding games from Orlando. We'll be doing it once again here on Thursday night and again throughout the weekend. You can join us live on YouTube, so check that out. Subscribe to the No Dunks YouTube channel if you want to, or if not, you know, we get the podcast up an hour or two later, and you can download that, be it on the Athletic Network or Apple or Spotify. Having fun? Everybody holding up after a week straight of Bubble Wrap podcast? Leigh, you're shaking your head a little bit. Does it hit you?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's just the mornings are a little tough when you've got a couple of little ones running around the house to get that little extra nap in. But, yeah, you know, so far so good.
Yeah, we got a little lucky on, I guess that was late Wednesday night. We started early, so we got to bed at somewhat of a normal time. Though I don't know about you, JD. I can't go to sleep immediately after the show. Like, I'm all wired. It's like we just did a Vegas show or something like that. I'm like up for another hour, like scrolling on my phone, basically doing nothing. But my mind's not ready to go to bed. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and I made the mistake the other night of firing up the old PlayStation because I couldn't sleep. That added another 2 hours to, shooting zombies and stuff. So that was a bad idea. I think screens in general are a good idea if you want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Especially if you're all wired.
Yeah, we should just, we got to pick up a book. That'll help put us to sleep. Yeah, don't. You're right. Don't get your eyes focused on a television screen or your tablet or your phone. It's not good. But there is an energy to the show, too, that it's just tough to come down from.
Mm-hmm. Do books have Zoom? Maybe we can do it over books.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Guys, email us your questions, nodunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in at nodunкsinc or use the hashtag nodunks. Yes, Beach Steppin continues. Despite doing a nightly show with Bubble Wrap, we had to keep this because the emails are just too good, Tess.
Yeah, there's lots coming in, and some very, very good ones. First one. Hello, all wedgies. I'm Brazilian, so as a kid, I basically played soccer. Never even liked basketball. But one day, one of my best friends at the time showed up at our neighborhood with a basketball. It was awful. Everyone abandoned soccer and started playing basketball. We never even played FIFA anymore. Just shot zombies. No, I'm just kidding. It was all NBA Live from that point on. This was around 2002, 2003. So whenever we played NBA Live, I had to choose the team with the best player because I sucked at it. I ended up always playing with the Timberwolves because of Kevin Garnett. Eventually, the sport grew on me, and I grew to love KG and the state of Minnesota. So much so, I was devastated when the Wolves lost to the Lakers in 6 in the 2004 Western Conference Finals. Kareem Rush went 6 for 7 from deep and scored 18 points to seal the series. Haven't heard that name in a long time. Mm-hmm. If only he hadn't had the game of his life, we would have definitely won Game 7 at home. I truly believe KG and the Wolves could have won the finals against the Pistons. So, my question is, what's your biggest, not so obvious what if? Can be basketball or not. Apareçam amo vocês incrível. That's turn up, love you guys, awesome in Portuguese. That's from Pedro. And shout out to my man, De Francisco, for helping with the pronunciations of Portuguese. That's some hard stuff.
Well done.
Skeet, start us off here. And not so obvious what if, b-ball or not.
I'm going to keep it to b-ball because I know we got a lot of silly questions as this podcast goes on. It's a weird what if. I think we've talked about it before. And it's strange because the guy still went on to make the Hall of Fame just a few years ago. But to me, the NBA's ultimate what if is, what if Grant Hill doesn't bugger his ankle and doesn't struggle with the injuries? Again, becomes a Hall of Famer anyway. But I do think there is a situation where it plays out where he doesn't injure his ankle, that Grant Hill, is on the very short list of the greatest basketball players of all time. I truly, truly believe that. Now, a part of that is I was such a Grant Hill fan. I thought Penny Hardaway, like, he was my favorite player at the time when I was young back in the mid-90s, but Grant Hill to me was like, well, he's going to be the best. Because he was amazing, young. At 24, he finished third to Karl Malone and Michael Jordan in the MVP vote. He was averaging 22, 9, and 7. A couple years later, he's averaging 26 points per game. He was a point forward before we really even knew what that truly meant. It's just like a huge what if to me. I do think there is a scenario where he's up there with the MJs and LeBrons and Kobe's. Like, Grant Hill is right there in the mix. So it's a basketball what if, but man, he was something special, Lee. Especially, of course, back with the Pistons when he was just dominating.
I agree. I absolutely think he could have been top 10 of all time if his career had played out. He came into the league and he was great from the start. He only got better. And he didn't really have, he was more like almost better than a Scottie Pippen in that point forward role there. He had it all. And it was tragic that his career was cut so short. I guess in the end it carried on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But his prime, we lost his real prime where he was going to put his stamp on the league and, never got to the finals, never got a championship and we never really got to see him in those big moments like that, which is so sad because, I agree. There's very few players that come into the league from the start. I mean, Shaq's one of them, and they're like, oh my God, this guy is just an absolute beast from day one. And I believe Grant Hill was that as well. And then, we lost him to those injuries, and he just never, when he came back, he was still a very great role player, but nowhere near the sort of player who was like, this guy should have had multiple, long runs into the playoffs, probably finals, probably a finals MVP, maybe even an MVP of the league at some point as well.
Whoa, a regular Fred VanVleet out here with the future finals MVPs. But
that was
he was
Shai
like
Gilgeous-Alexander. Right?
that's a fair point. But he's 21 years old when he comes in because players used to actually stay in college back then. So he's just ready to play at an all-NBA level. I think you definitely forget that Grant Hill was like a monster athlete. There's multiple YouTube reels of his dunks from early in his career. You kind of think of him as a smooth player doing it all, but the guy had a lightning quick first step. I remember Sports Illustrated for Kids was always bigging up his second step, the fastest second step in the league, something I had never heard of, but it's true. The guy could get to the hoop instantly, and then it was just he could rise up and dunk. He would have been what LeBron is before LeBron was, really.
I think so. And then there's the what if to the what if is what if Duncan and him team up Grant Hill in Orlando. I mean, it was fairly close by all accounts. And holy crap. Try and wrap your head around Tim Duncan and Grant Hill, if they were both healthy on the Magic in the Eastern Conference. I mean, what are the damage they could have done there? So any other answers to this one?
I'll jump in next because Grant Hill is actually on my team that I want to talk about later in his career, the Phoenix Suns, everyone's second favorite team when they had Nash and Amari. They never got to an NBA Finals. And people always talk about 2007, Robert Horry checking Steve Nash, and then Amari and Boris Diaw getting suspended. The Suns lose that series to the Spurs. But 2010, at the end of the run, Grant Hill on this team in the Western Conference Finals, similar to the Emailers scenario, 2-2 in LA. If Phoenix wins, they go home for Game 6. Could definitely be going to an NBA Finals. 3.5 seconds left. Lakers ball inbound to Kobe, who airballs short out of nowhere. Ron Artest comes up with it. Put back for the game winner. That one way up high off the glass. It would have gone to OT and back to Phoenix. So the Lakers went on to win the finals, and that was really the end of the Suns. And Grant Hill was starting every single game for the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs there. That was a huge turn of events. You remember Kobe was way short on that. Ron Artest just bodied Jason Richardson to get to the ball and threw it up absolutely out of nowhere, and that changed a Lakers rematch with the Celtics that year. And it would have been fun to see a Phoenix Boston NBA Finals.
The what if Kobe doesn't airball it? Just that part is that's crazy.
He misses it,
Yeah, he just misses a normal shot, and then there's probably no Artest rebound there. And then who knows what happens, of course, but it's the fact that it sort of went right to Ron. That's a good one. What do you got, Leigh?
I'm going back to March 2012 when Monte Ellis was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks for Andrew Bogut. Apparently the deal was the Warriors were trying to offload Steph Curry. They didn't want to trade Monte Ellis, but his ankles gave the Bucks concern, and they were like, we don't really want him. We don't don't think this guy's got a long future. So instead, it's Monte for Andrew Bogut, and then Steph Curry explodes to become a 2-time MVP. If he's in Milwaukee, I mean, does that happen? Probably not. I don't think he even stays in Milwaukee all that long. I think he leaves at some point. So it's just incredible that the Warriors were the ones saying, take Steph Curry, take him. And the Bucks are like, no, we don't want him. We want Monte instead. And I mean, the rest is history. The Warriors go on to have one of the most dominant runs of all time, win a couple of championships. Steph changes the game. And the Bucks, I mean, they're okay now, but at the time they gave up Andrew Bogut and got Monte. And Monte only stayed, I think, one season in the end? I can't remember what it was, but I mean, obviously the Bucks would love to have that trade back if they could. So
I think so.
Can we get a do-over?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be fascinating just to see that? I mean, like, that's one thing that Ethan Sherwood-Strauss revealed in his book, that the Warriors, at one point nearly traded Chris Paul for Clay and Steph, and that one didn't happen. So it just shows how much luck is involved, and just like we look at the Warriors and think what an organization they've been over the last 5 to 10 years, but ultimately it comes down to just like, oh, we got lucky with that one, didn't we, guys? I mean, things just sort of fell into place for us the way they drafted. They got Draymond Green in the second round. He turns into a player that nobody possibly could have predicted. Timing and situation and circumstances that you have almost no control over sometimes just work in your favor.
Mm-hmm. Trey, what do you got?
Let's stay in 2012. Here's a what if that I don't know if it changes anything in the NBA at all, but what if the 2012 Charlotte Bobcats actually win the lottery that year? Remember, they tanked harder than maybe any team had tanked up until that point. They won 7 games during the lockout season, a sterling .106 win percentage. And then they get the number 2 draft pick in the Anthony Davis draft. They get MKG. People were excited about MKG back then. They thought he could be an impactful defender, at the very least a Tony Allen, but he never ended up really getting to Tony Allen status, and he definitely never got to Anthony Davis status. What really changes Lingwai? I don't know. The Hornets/Bobcats have won 3 playoff games since Anthony Davis was drafted. Maybe they win 6. I don't know what it is. They would have been better, you think.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't ever change their name to the Hornets. Maybe he puts the Bobcats on his back, him and Bismack Biyombo and Kemba Walker, and they turn into a real team. And we're calling them the Charlotte Bobcats still. Who knows?
Who knows, man? Yeah, Rufus would still be around with his cool shades on. Those are great. Good start to this podcast. I like this. Good basketball answers. Any other silly ones that anyone wanted to throw into the mix? JD, you got anything?
No, I got nothing. I'm working on a technical thing here.
Oh no!
I've got a silly one. Kawhi's shot against Philadelphia last year. What if the refs waved that off for travel? Because he sort of does that gather there, and then he shoots it like he would have still in his motion, so it would have been the shot, would have rattled in. Imagine that now, they call it off, travel, overtime, and then the Raptors lose. There would have been imagine the conspiracy theorists then about the NBA hating the Raptors,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it would be known as the travel, not the shot, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Thank God they swallowed the whistle. All right, next one. Hello, yes, layups. My girlfriend likes to sleep with the TV on. Luckily, she is not particular about what is on. Bubble wrap has now become our soothing nighttime watch/listen. Have you guys started doing any new nightly routines during these crazy times? That's from Cole Ram in Pitt Meadows, which is located in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Thanks, Cole. Cole Ram from Pitt Meadows. That sounds awesome. What do you got, Tass? You changed up your routine at all now? We got the bubble wrap going?
Well, yeah, we're recording at about 12 to 1, and I find it weird, but I've started brushing my teeth and flossing before the show, so I'm ready for bed right when it's done. I mean, it doesn't work. As you guys said, it's impossible to go to bed right after a show. I mean, but I think back to the old TV days when we were on TV. I wish I had this habit of brushing my teeth. Maybe not flossing, I don't really care to floss, but brush my teeth before the show, because I was always thinking, oh, there's a big chunker in my teeth somewhere, because I never really cleaned my teeth. I wish I had that habit, but now, I mean, like, I sit there, as JD said, I'll find something to do, I'll find a screen to look at. If my computer's unavailable, I got a TV. Oh yeah, I got a phone. I got an iPad to look at. It's stupid, and it feels weird to get ready for bed before a show when I'm not even getting ready for bed anyways. I feel like it's saving time, but it's not doing anything.
We got to start doing the bubble wrap, everybody in their pajamas.
Yeah.
That would be funny. Yeah, no, you're right. For me, it's the same idea. Like, I think because we're up so late now, I'm just eating weird things at like 2 a.m. Like, after we wrap up recording, you're hungry because you've been up for so long. You had dinner like 6 hours ago at that point. So I'm like, the other night I'm having toast with peach jam on it. I never eat peach jam, ever. But I'm like, well, it's here. You know, it's going to be simple. It's going to be an easy make. So that's one thing. And the other thing that's changed for me, I don't play any more WGT since basketball restarted. No more golf online with the guys. Haven't even opened it once because there's basketball on all day and then we're doing the podcasting at night. So I miss hitting the links, Leigh. Miss my virtual golfer, man. Yeah, I was playing well too. I just finished top 50 in a tournament, and I was really finding my stroke. But it's over because basketball's back. What about you, Leigh?
Yeah, well, for me, so I've really struggled to keep my bar 3 routine during the sort of lockdown quarantine situation because I like to do it in the morning, but I've always got the boys and it's hard. So now I've been spending so much time sitting on my big fat bum during watching games. I'm like, I put the boys to bed, then I come downstairs to get ready for the show, and I'm like, I've actually got some time now. So I can start doing a few squats, a few push-ups, a few lunges, a few stretches. I'm starting to actually feel it. And I'm like, all right, it feels good to actually do some exercise with the body again because, like I say,
one of the best ways.
Yeah. I just find, since last Thursday, and even back to the scrimmages, I just find I'm just plonked in the chair sometimes watching games because I can't really, if I have the TV on, I'm always distracted. So when you've got the computer there, you're sitting down, you're just watching, you're like, oh man, I've been sitting here for like 4 hours and I've barely even moved. So it's good to get a little bit of the blood flowing again. But I've also instituted a new rule. This has actually started before the NBA came back. Because again, with 2 boys in the house and the 3-year-old, if I go to the toilet, he sees that as an invitation to come on in and see what I'm doing. And I'm like, all right, you know what? You're nearly 4 years old now. You're banned from coming into the toilet when I go in there. So I lock the door. I'm like, that's it. I'm pooping in privacy and in peace from now on. That's it. I've done it for the last, the last 7 or 8 years. I've had to share my bathroom experiences and you put up with it. But I've finally put the hammer down. I said, no more. This is my time. So it's a new kind of routine or rule, I guess. But it feels great. I feel free again.
Have the boys seen you do the Leigh pee? That's what I really want to know. Have they seen you mount that?
Is that
thing?
why you're working on your squats?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, that tends to happen at night when there's no one else around.
Okay.
So I haven't done it. But man, you know what? My 3-year-old, he the other day came. He just thinks it's time to come in, and the door was locked, and I wouldn't let him in. And I saw his little fingers under the door. He's like, "Daddy." No, it's like a scary movie. I'm like, "No, you're out. You just stay out."
Trey, what about you?
Oh, I love the new schedule, and you just got to keep doing things anytime there's downtime. So for me, I'll get up early in the morning, go fishing, do yoga with the girls. I'm foam rolling at halftime. If it's halftime at a 4 o'clock game, I'll go make a pot of rice, and then at the next commercial break, I'm chopping shallots. The next commercial break, I'm chopping garlic. Next thing you know, you got a fried rice going. You got a jump rope. You can do 10 minutes at halftime. It's easy. And then after the show, like you guys are saying, you can't turn it off and go to bed right away. I know we were done early last night, but that just means there's more time to watch bass fishing on YouTube. For me, guaranteed I'm watching something on YouTube afterwards. Sometimes it'll be F1, sometimes it'll be fishing, sometimes it'll be our show, just to see what kind of dumb stuff we were saying about 20 minutes ago. You have no idea what you're saying at nighttime, but the night owl lifestyle, I'm loving it.
Oh man, I am not proud to admit this, but last night after the show, we get it posted, I'm ready to go to bed, and I'm like, I'll download the show, and I throw in my AirPods and I start listening to the show. I end up listening to the entire show that we had just recorded. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I even caught myself. And I like to try and listen to our show as much as I can. I'll do it on a run if I can or whatever. But, right after we got done doing it, and then JD posted an hour later, I'm listening to it. And I listened to the entire thing, and then I went to bed. So maybe I just missed you guys after we said goodbye, logged off from Zoom. Had to hear that voice again. Had to check your all bubble team again there, Leigh, which you did on last night.
Maybe we shouldn't log off from Zoom. We should just leave the Zoom
Keep it on.
Yeah. and then we just slowly, as everyone drifts off to sleep, then you're like, okay, now I guess it's time to go to sleep,
Yeah, maybe. JD, I know you're working on some technical difficulties over there, but do you have an answer for this one?
What are we talking about? Nighttime?
Okay, JD, sorry. I never
we'll
know,
move
so I
on.
don't want to skip JD without him having a chance to answer, but he's into something else on today's show. Tess, next one.
Hey fam, longtime listener, longtime emailer. Back in May 2018, when Coach Budenholzer picked the Milwaukee Bucks over a couple other suitors, I had a brief, good-natured Twitter exchange with one J.E. Skeets. Skeets expressed his confusion as to why Bud would select the Bucks and the city of Milwaukee over his beloved Toronto. As I recall, Skeets was a bit disappointed that the best coach available had chosen a division rival over what he thought was a clearly superior situation. Not a division rival, a conference, whatever. With the benefit of hindsight, as well as a soon-to-be-framed 2019 championship towel and a coach that is widely regarded as the best in the league, I assume that Skeets is very comfortable with how things played out. So here's my question. Basketball or otherwise, what is something that you were opposed to at the time, thought was stupid or regretted, but ultimately came to realize that it was the right decision? That's from Andrew in Milwaukee. Trey, you got an answer for this?
Well, I hope Matty O is listening, because I gotta take an L for fighting him so hard when he wanted to switch us from WhatsApp to Slack. Because I was like, why do we need yet another messaging program? WhatsApp even has a desktop client. This is ridiculous. This is so stupid. I don't need to learn another program. And now I'm slacked up, baby. We're talking multiple channels. I'm making individual emojis for people. You never know when you're gonna need to blast Danny LaRue's face to something, you know? But yeah, Slack, I didn't want to learn it, but now I'm glad I did, because there are just so many great messaging features.
When he's not jacking it, he's slacking it. Oh, man. Yeah, I do remember that. I actually recall that, the movement to Slack. And there was some blowback, if I do recall.
Oh, there was some Slack back for sure. We were like, should we let this person in? Should we let him in? We didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't, thankfully.
That was a good decision for sure.
Leigh, you got an answer for this?
Yeah, I'm going to say the bubble. The bubble. So far, it's been fantastically well run by the NBA. And when it was first brought about, I was like, it's not going to work. What are you going to do? Put hundreds of people together and get them all to quarantine and make sure they're wearing masks and all that? It just doesn't make any sense. It's going to be 5 months after the league was suspended. You may as well just end this season and move on. But I have to say the NBA has so far done everything very, very well. There hasn't been any outbreaks that we've seen. I think just yesterday we saw yet another return that there'd been no positive tests. They're not taking any chances. We're seeing guys like Lou Williams who left, and the NBA's like, all right, well, you're getting in quarantine for 10 days. We don't want anyone to sort of take their foot off the gas here. And I mean, the basketball's been great. I think, so far we are probably going to see a champion. I think we're going to get through the end of this from what I've seen so far. So everything has been great. It's great to have basketball back. There's still a lot of issues, of course, with the coronavirus around the world, but the NBA has taken leadership and shown what can be done if people are led the right way, and everything the NBA has done has been fantastic. So I will say hats off, and I certainly hope we do get through the end of this, and at the end of it we'll just say, man, what an awesome job the league did.
Skeets, you got an answer?
Yeah, I guess my real answer is buying a house. I was definitely, I don't know if opposed to it at the time is the right way to put it, but I was skeptical, and Nora was really pushing for it, and now I love it. I'm happy we made that decision. Love the house we got, and, turns out we're basically paying the exact same thing on our mortgage as we were for our damn rental anyway, so might as well own it. But I wanted to sort of jam this other one in here. And it was tweeting about a dumb NBA rule the other night, and I just want to get your guys' take on it. As soon as I sent the tweet, I was like, that was stupid because I worded that wrong. Wait till I get these replies. But I'm ultimately glad I made this decision to tweet it. And what I'm talking about is, did you guys see the play? I guess it was Tuesday night, so it's a couple nights ago. Celtics Heat game, where Tice, he dove out of bounds to save the ball, and as he dives out, he saves it. It hits a Heat player under the rim. I forget who it was. It may have been Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I think
ricochets off Hero, and then hit Tice, on the arm, on the hand, while he is lying on the ground out of bounds. Okay, so that's the play for everyone listening and for you guys. I tweeted about it. I wrote, quote, "That's a rule I've never understood. if I throw the ball off of you while I'm falling out of bounds and then it ricochets off a player and it hits me while I'm clearly out of bounds, why is it still called off of me? I'm out of bounds. It might as well hit a chair. Now, again, as soon as I press send...
capped this tweet immediately because this is insane. This is insane to me.
What? That from my
yes,
problem
your
with
take.
the issue?
Your
Okay,
take
well,
on this is insane.
Let's get into it. So, yeah, I pressed send. I regretted it immediately, especially how I finished the tweet with the whole chair. I knew as soon as I said chair, people are going to, like, fixate on that, but it sort of wasn't my point. But anyway, a lot of people are like, and it sounds like Trey is one of them, like, what the hell are you talking about? You're an active player in the game. The chair isn't. So I was getting a lot of that. But that was sort of my argument. My problem with the rule is once I'm out of bounds, I don't think I should be considered active until I reestablish 2 feet in bounds. That's how I think the rule should be changed or applied. So Trey, you think it was a stupid tweet. Again, I just I just don't love it. I like if I save it and then I'm out. I am out of bounds, so I'm no longer part of the play. Now I know that's actually technically not the rule, but that's how it should be to me. Just because it then hits you and then it hits me, like why? Why is it?
If you're out of bounds and the ball touches you, you're out of bounds. I mean, that's the simplest explanation for it. Otherwise, you're just going to be able to stand out of bounds the whole time.
Why would I stand out of bounds? How is that benefiting my team?
Agree, it's not going to benefit your team,
not.
but changing this rule doesn't make any sense to me. Granted, the first time I saw it, I'm gone off the Sunday Scaries, and it doesn't make any sense to me how this could possibly work. But if you're out of bounds and the ball touches you, it's out of bounds. And I think that has to be the case always because it's otherwise you get into, okay, if a foot is a toe out of bounds, does that count as being established out of bounds? If 1 foot is out of bounds, is that out of bounds? Is 2 feet? What's establishing? Then you're getting into the NFL versus NCAA football rules. It's a lot easier just to say if you're out of bounds and you touch the ball, you're out of bounds.
I get it. It just seems a little strange to me. That's all. It's like I am like, and that's why I said like I'm basically a chair at that point. If I had the, the ability to change the rules, it's like I'm out. I am out. So it's hitting me. Okay, so Trey, let me ask this weird hypothetical. This Tice situation. Let's say he saves it. He's falling out of bounds. It ricochets off Tyler Hero, and then. As it's ricocheting back, let's just say it's possible, Tice jumps in the air. He jumps in the air. He's not touching out of bounds. It hits Tice and then comes back. So is he...
He's still out of bounds. He's still out of bounds, like you're saying.
Now, why is he out of bounds in that situation to you then?
Because he hasn't reestablished himself in bounds. He's not in bounds yet. He's still out of bounds.
Even though he's in the air. He's crossed the line.
He has to have his feet back in bounds. It's just like.
But he was out of bounds on the initial save then, because he was in the air.
That's why you can't call a timeout when you're in the air anymore.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is a rule change. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tass, Leigh, does this make any sense?
Well, yeah. So I saw that play as well, and I thought after it hit Tyler Hero, it hit the end line anyway.
Okay, don't worry about that. That's
I thought so too, but a different issue.
Yeah,
but doesn't that mean then it doesn't matter if it hits Tice, because then it's automatically the last person to touch it and it goes out off. So it's off Hero.
That's good. That's a good point. Yeah. If the ball hits off Hero's knee,
because
hits out of bounds and then hits Tice, then it doesn't matter.
If the ball or any player is touching one of the end lines, that's counted as out of bounds in the NBA, right? So the ball hits Hero, hits the line. So the last person to touch it before it became a dead ball was Tyler Hero. And it goes back also to the other day when Jason Tatum, they said the ball was in the air, but he was still in the back court. Well, as far as I'm concerned, and you still see it, like if a guy saves the ball and he's out of bounds and he's over the line, but his last time he touched the ground was in the court, then it's play on. Mm-hmm. So that to me is weird, that it's like you can be over the line in the air, but you're still in bounds because your last time you touched the ground, you were in bounds.
Yeah.
So it's, so for Daniel Tice, it's like, but he was on the ground, so he's out of bounds because he's touched the ground. So if the ball hits him and it doesn't hit that baseline first, then the last person to touch it before it goes out was Tice.
I think that's why the backcourt scenario is so confusing, because that's the one rule I feel like that is not line based. That one is ball based, rather than line and foot based, right? Because if you touch the free throw line, it doesn't count. That's a lane violation. If you touch the 3-point line, that's a 2-pointer. If you touch the out of bounds line, you're out of bounds. but for some reason, despite the fact that we have a line down half court, we're using the ball. That was why it was so weird on that play, I thought.
Because you see, let's say a player's dribbling the ball over half court and he loses possession, like he loses sort of control of it, and he runs up to the halfway line and the ball in the air goes over the halfway line and he grabs it and brings it back. That's not an over and back because his feet are stayed in bounds.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing for anything else as far as the lines go. As far as I'm concerned, if the ball is over the line and in the air, but you remain in bounds, then it's play on. The ball is still live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tass, anything to add to this?
No. I think we've lined it up. We've aired it up. I think we've done a lot there. So I'll answer this quickly here and then move on, or else we're not going to get to all these questions. I don't know. We might have to do 2 podcasts, JD. Might have to cut this in half. The way we're going at 10 minutes per question here. But quickly, what did I never really wanted in my life was a headband. I didn't want a headband ever. I didn't think I'd ever wear a headband. I just didn't see the need. I was okay with some sweat in my eyes. But now I've put on a nice terry cloth headband. It feels great. And it blocks a lot of sweat. I mean, down here in the South, obviously extremely hot. I've put on a hat running outside. Doesn't soak up the sweat I need to be soaked up like a nice headband. I look like a goof, huge goof, but it's definitely substance over style with a headband. Just never thought I'd be the guy. Now I might look into cooler headbands because right now I'm just wearing a free headband that I got. And it's working like a charm.
Is that a Palm Bay headband? You still got that one?
Nice pull. I was waiting for somebody to pull it out. Old Palm Bay came in an 8 or 12 pack of Palm Bay sweet alcoholic drinks way back in Canada. I still have it just sitting around for this reason. And now I think I might need a better one. I don't even know what a better headband is. A headband's a friggin' headband.
That's a pretty cool one, actually, yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad. And just quickly to address the emailer, he said, Skeets was upset that Mike Budenholzer selected Milwaukee over Toronto in 2018, and Skeets and a lot of Toronto fans said, hey, we're a team that won whatever they won in 2018. I think some 55 maybe they won that year.
59 wasn't it? I thought.
Was that the 59 year?
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, they won a ton of games. The Bucks, you had Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Raptors didn't have Kawhi at the time, so he was picking Giannis versus Kyle and DeMar. And it worked out that they traded for Masai, pulled it off. A couple months later, they pulled off the Kawhi move. But most people outside of Toronto said, not a bad move. Maybe you want to go to the city. Lots of articles now from The Athletic talking about Mike Budenholzer liking having dinners and the wine scene. Maybe the wine scene is better in Toronto than it is in Milwaukee. I don't know the wine scene, but I'm just assuming. But as far as the basketball goes, pretty decent pick, I think. Either way.
It worked out for really both parties, as Andrew said. And the soon-to-be framed 2019 championship towel, it's been dropped off, guys. Went in there, went to the Moog gallery, saw Kat. Beautiful woman. She's taking care of me. It's going to be a while. There's a backlog. She said a lot of people, because everybody's at home, you're starting to get to all these projects that you've probably just weren't taking care of during the pandemic. So she's like, there's a lot of people dropping stuff off to get framed. So it's going to be a couple weeks. Can't wait to show you guys. I'm excited. We went over the matting, went over the frame, and get this. I can't believe I tried this, but Nora made me do it. She says, hey, you got a lot of followers on Instagram and Twitter. See if you can get some sort of discount. You're going to take a photo of it for sure once you get it. Ask them if you tag them in it. Get a little bit of a discount. No problem, guys. Just like that. Instantly, she said, yeah, I'll give you a discount. It'd be great.
Well, she probably knows it's going to get prime placement just sitting on your bed for weeks and weeks.
No, that's going to be hung up above the bed after I get it framed, Trey. I can't wait. So I'm very, very excited for that. And also, Tassa, I want this beach Steppin to go so long that it just rolls right into the bubble wrap tonight. Okay. Our next one.
That'll be perfect. That towel will be perfect for guests to be able to use when they come on over. It's their... Just hop off the bed. Oh, here's my towel. Nice.
No. It's going to be behind glass, Tass. I was going to go plexiglass. Turns out plexiglass actually more expensive than glass. Crazy. And it's you got issues if you scratch it. That's a problem. Anyway, all right, this one we should be able to fly through quickly because there's nothing to answer. No, well, it's a comment. I always say send your questions or your comments, and this one really is more of a comment. Hey, No Funks. You guys talked about how hearing contact can affect calls being made in the quiet atmosphere of NBA bubble games. This always brings back the same memory for me. When I was in high school, one of my teammates and I both jumped to try and block an opponent's shot. We both missed the ball, but managed to high-five each other going for the highlight block. Needless to say, it made exactly the same noise as if we did hit the guy's arm, and one of us were whistled for a foul, me or my teammate, I can't recall. I was kind of mad, but conceded. Did sound like a foul. Now, as a basketball referee, I try to go by the mantra of one of my colleagues: call what you see, not what you hear. Have I been fooled a few times in a 50-50 call where the sound made me blow the whistle? Sure. Anyway, you obviously can't referee on sound alone, and I try not to be distracted by it, but I do believe it can tip the balance in a 50-50 situation. Just wanted to share this little anecdote to you guys. Thanks for the great work. That's from Nicholas up in Quebec City, a referee. Nicholas, with that little comment there, sharing the idea we were talking about, how quiet it is in the bubble. Maybe that's why more fouls are being called. You can hear the contact, Leigh. You can hear the grunting.
Yeah, you can. And I think that is a part of it, for sure. Because sometimes you hear a noise and you go, well, that sounded like a foul. I better call something, better blow the whistle. But just because there's contact doesn't mean there's a foul.
Right. I do like that mantra there. Call what you see, not what you hear, Tass.
Yeah. I wonder how much, even prior to no fans, referees could hear on the floor.
Oh, probably.
Hear a good amount.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just there's more focus maybe on it now because
there's no crowd as well. There's none of that home crowd intimidation. Like influence, I guess, is probably a better word to say.
They should wear noise-canceling headphones then. That way it's all eyes. You're not going to get upset about players complaining to you about fouls, less technicals. You're not going to have coaches complaining about fouls. Same thing, less technicals. The game will go faster, and you're getting the calls 100% right. Ears should play 0%. Come on.
I like that idea. You can get a sponsorship out of that, too. Nice noise-canceling headphones.
There's a JBL deal waiting to be made.
Right.
A lot of hot ears, though. Running up and down Netflix. All right, next one. When touring shows can't start again, when touring shows can start again, do you think Knicks owner James Dolan is going to hit the road with the hottest new support band in NYC, Tom Thibodeau and the Mikes? That's good stuff. That's very good stuff. What are the best NBA support band names y'all can think up? That's from Stav and Fiona in Sydney, some longtime fans. Yeah, Tom Thibodeau, new Knicks coach, and the Mikes. A lot of assistants named Mike, a lot of guys who've been interviewed named Mike, so that's great. Trey, what do you think?
Yeah, there's a few of them. Backing bands, I feel like, are not at the height of their popularity, as they would have been circa the 1970s. But here's a few I came up with looking through some classics. Mike Conley and Crazy Horse. Just one horse.
I like that.
Tass, you might like this one. Throw on some Birkenstocks and listen to the Wesley Matthews Band.
That's good stuff.
Maybe you want to have a little dance party. Turn on Parliament Neo Funkadelic. You guys want to talk sports? How about Huey Lewis and the Nets? Or maybe the four of us could be white rappers, move up to Beantown, and join Marky Mark and the Donkey Bunch.
Nailed it. That's what we were looking for. That's why we included this. We fire those puns there, Trey Kirby. Anyway, anything else to add, or did you knock it out of the park?
I think he got it right. I was just trying to think of something with Nick Nurse playing the guitar, singing a song, and in the background, that Robert Palmer Simply Irresistible video? Like, they're all just nurses in the back instead of the girls in the short skirts. Nick and the nurses, or something like that. I don't know. I'm still
They're all
trying
wearing
to figure
the
it out.
NN hats.
Yeah.
Nick Nurse and the frontline healthcare workers. And they can donate absolutely everything to the American Nurses Foundation, like No Dunks did. I got a couple of other cheesy ones. The Quinn Snyder Jazz Band, and they'd only play metal because there's no jazz in Utah. Billy Don O'Can by the Lake. They'd tour in a van and play some music. Why not? That's
Sure.
a dumb one. Yeah. Why did I say Don O'Can by the Lake? I think I meant to write Don O'Van by the Lake, and I'm reading Don O'Can. V besides C. Yeah, that's what happened. That's definitely what happened.
A bit of a typo there.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it for me.
All right, let's keep it going.
I got a
Greetings.
couple.
Oh, well, Jesus, now you got
There
something.
it comes out of the woodwork.
How am I supposed to know when you want to talk?
Fix my problem. Well, I kind of didn't understand the question, so I too just came up with some stupid puns. So we got Dwayne Casey and the Sunshine Band, Scott
nice
Brooks and Dunn, Jason Kidd and Play.
Nice.
For the Canadians, we got Stan Van 3000 and Jerry Sloan, Canadian as well. Byron Scott Pilgrim. That's a bit of a stretch.
Ooh.
But an obvious to go against JD in the straight shots, Dave Yeager in the straight shots.
Oh, nice.
That's a bit of an obvious one. But
Nice.
that's all.
Good work, JD. Did you figure out the technical difficulties and that allowed you to answer that one?
I actually didn't have a technical difficulty. I was just trying to research coaches' names so I could. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I fixed it. Fucking Pro Tools. Fuck you, Pro Tools.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy.
You just make it more work for yourself, JD.
It's already off the rails, so yeah, it's fine.
Next one. Greetings, Nay Dunker. In a recent episode of the Up Down Report, you debated whether or not brownies or cookies were superior. And while obviously cookies will always beat brownies, hearing you guys talk about brownies reminded me of the time I made special brownies my freshman year of college. I was in my dorm one night and I decided to eat an incredibly stale brownie baked several weeks prior. It was so stale I had to dunk it in water each bite. That's gross to me.
Disgusting.
While I was having a blast for most of the night, watching The Simpsons and dying from laughter, the night ended with me vomiting into my garbage can and then falling asleep. Was there ever a moment in your basketball or regular life in which everything was going so well up until a disastrous ending? Much love. From Minneapolis, that's from Casey. Leigh, what do you got?
Well, Casey's obviously a stoner. There's no doubt about that. And if you're going to eat a brownie from that far ago, you can't not use that as a knock against brownies. I mean, you've got to eat the brownie fresh. You can't say, well, I ate one, months old and it was sucked. So there you go, Casey. But this
You
is
stoner. You're a huge stoner, man. You ate a brownie once. You're a big stoner.
Come on. He's what did he say? In my dorm one night. Come on, he's stoned. That's fine though. I'm pro stoning. Get stoned. It's great.
I'm pro stoning. I'm anti-stale
What is this,
brownie.
the Old Testament? Jeez, guy. Get Manos and Tito's on the line.
Oh, geez, Manos and Titos. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm positive Titos has got a reefer in his hand right now. There's somewhere sitting on the beach.
He's got a reefer?
For sure, big one.
Okay, Dad.
Narc.
Anyway, so I'm going back to junior basketball. It was under 14s. I was 13, and we were the second best team in our league. And the team who was best, we played them like the first time and they beat us easily. And then we played them the second time, they beat us easily. And this team hadn't lost all year long, right? So for a calendar year, 12 months, I hadn't lost. And then the third time we played them, or maybe it was the fourth, anyway, whatever it was like our team was just hyped up, and we got to beat these guys, we got to beat them. And with like 12 seconds to go, we were up by 1 point. And Dad was the coach, and Dad called a timeout, and he said, right, 12 seconds to go. All you got to do, pass the ball, keep moving around. Just keep moving around. Everyone just pass and pass and pass. Run them around, okay? Because you didn't really foul at that level. It was more you had to just steal and get the ball. Anyway, so this guy passed it into me. I was the first one to receive it, and I'm like, yeah, I want this moment. I took a dribble, and I threw it, and I got trapped, and two guys just jumped up, blocked the ball, ran down the other end, passed to the other guy, laid it up as the buzzer went off, and I was just like devastated. I booted the ball as it came down the hoop. I just kicked it away.
Poor sportsman.
Oh man, and I looked at the other end of the court, and basically my entire team was still kind of just making their way down, but it was just me, and it was like, oh my God, I've just blown it. And at that age, it was a devastating moment in my basketball career because, most of these guys, we kind of went to the same school, so we're friends with, and it was like they had the unbeaten streak, and I was just like, I can't believe I cost my team a chance to knock off the team that hadn't lost all season. And they celebrated, they were high-fiving, and I just, man, what a walk back to the bench for a 13-year-old at the time, just being like, I'm sorry.
You blew it. Yeah, what did Dickie say?
Oh no, he was fine. He was fine. I mean, he wasn't thrilled that we lost the game, but he wasn't going to unload on me on the sidelines or anything like that. He just said, he goes, "You shouldn't have tried to pass it over the two guys." I mean, they were big, big guys as well, and I was only a little guy. Man, I don't know why I chose to bring that story up. Bring back awful memories. But
that's really raw for you.
I just remember when they laid it up and the buzzer sound, and I was like, oh God, like there was no chance of redemption or anything like that, and they went through the entire year unbeaten.
Wow. Oh God, that's what JD is doing right now after hearing you tap the table.
I'm just
every
thinking
4
that.
seconds.
Hit your desk one more time, Leigh. One more time. I can't take them out when you're talking,
Oh man,
Yeah, it's a tough story, JD. It's a tough story.
It's yeah.
He's beating himself up still over this. This is crazy.
He's gonna go call up Manos and Titos right now, so he can relax after that story. I'll jump in here. 2008, I attended my cousin's wedding in Seattle. It was a great wedding. Then I took a drive up through the state of Washington into Canada. Beautiful drive on my own. I got a speeding ticket. No big deal. That didn't slow me down. No big. I was planning on not paying it, but I paid it anyway. That had nothing to do with the story. It was a great drive up, and then had a fun time at a friend bachelor party. Our friend Thodie's bachelor party in Vancouver and Victoria. Lovely. And I flew home after drinking a kokanee beer for 8 straight days, and I blamed the kokanee beer that was floating around in my bones, because the day of that I got back, I broke my femur playing softball. So it didn't end well. It was great. It was a great run, and I enjoyed the water of kokanee as I was drinking it, but I'm blaming kokanee for my weak bones. Like that makes any sense. Anyways, it was a good week, and then a bad 6 months where I couldn't walk, but it was fun.
Trey, what do you got?
I was a bed pisser in college, so I had a lot of really fun nights that would not be fun mornings. For how warm it is coming out, it's freezing cold if you're in it for hours at a time. Yeah.
Yes, a story you shared on the podcast before.
yeah.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
I wish it was just one time that I pissed the bed, but yeah, it wasn't.
It was more.
It was several. Yeah, it was several. It was a monthly occurrence, I would say. But it's good to have reputation.
I've got a couple of friends who are bed pissers too, and one time we were on a trip. There was 3 of us, and we were staying in a hotel with 4 beds. And one morning, I can't remember why, but for some reason I wanted to go into the spare bed, and there was no one lying in it, and I jumped into it, and it was soaking wet.
It was a water bed.
And my friend said, "Yeah, sorry, I swapped beds," and I'm like, "I think I know why."
That's gross. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Disgusting.
It's gross.
Skeets, you got one for this?
Yeah, I mean, just I've talked about it before. Definitely when I ran the Boston Marathon for the first time, the only time so far, a couple of years ago. Things were going so well for that first half of the marathon. I was
and you
killing
pissed
it.
yourself.
I actually somehow didn't piss myself. But it was a little downhill. You're all hyped up. You're running with a bunch of fast people, and overdid it, to say the least. I know some of you guys were tracking me on the app that you could, and everybody, like, after it was funny to see, like, everybody commenting, like, wow, Skeets is killing it, oh my God. And then, I hit the wall, literally hit the wall, hit Heartbreak Hill, and had to walk at one point. Bad timing, too, because that's when I saw somebody with a No Dunks fan, or Starters fan, I guess, at the time, sign, excuse me. Yeah, and I'm like, dead. I was literally dying. So that was started well and turned disastrous very, very quickly. It gets a lot of people. I'll get it next time. All right, next one, Tass.
Disastrous. You still ran a good time.
Yeah. I was just, I was on pace to do sub 3 when I was through the first 13 or 14 miles. I was feeling it too, but it got humid, and I went too fast, and that's what will happen. It'll just knock the shit out of you, which it did. It's very humbling for sure when you gotta just stop a race and start walking, and then you see someone with a sign cheering you on. Oh, man. I think I stopped to take a photo of him. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah.
Well, at least then you can play it cool, like, oh yeah, sure, man, I'll get a picture with you. In reality, it's like a player who like looks like they're hurt down on the ground, like, oh, my ankle's killing me. They're just trying to catch that breath to finish strong.
Yeah, no. If anything, he did inspire me to like run the final couple of miles. I found my wind. I was like, I can't walk this in for the last couple of miles. So I ended up going again and got running again. But once you stop running a marathon, oh my God, is it difficult to get going again? That's for damn sure. So, yeah.
All right. Next email here. Hey, No Dunks 5. Longtime listener, first time, etc., etc. Why is it when you guys do beach stepping and Skeetsy says, yeah, at the start, TK, you used to say blah. B-L-A-A-A-H. No, the blah. But anyways, you don't say it anymore. What gives, man? I listen for it every time now, and every time I'm let down. Don't have much else to say, more just writing to say keep up the good work. Watch my short video I've attached to this email. Just another Friday night here in Melbourne during lockdown.
Hey boys, well it's Friday night here in Melbourne, Australia, in my media room. What better to do after a long weekend than hit up the bar fridge, grab a drink. The bar's a little bit light at the moment, but I've got some CC and dries. Got James Squire, great local drop. Furphy as well, that's a local beer. You should all know Asahi. Leigh, of course, knows Corona. You won't find any piece of shit Budweisers in here. And Fat Yak, also another good local beer. So, crack one of these bad boys open. And what better to do on a Friday night than watch the No Dunks boys. Cheers, boys. Oh, yeah.
He continues, if it seems like this was one big ramble, it's probably because I'm a few beers down. LOL. That's from Anthony in Melbourne. JD, what were your thoughts? You saw this video.
I saw the video.
Your work up on the big screen. Yeah.
It was
right.
It was. It looked great. The intro, the beach stepping intro, looks awesome on the big screen. I'm glad that it cut away before it went to the Zoom screen with our faces, because it's a sharp spike down in the quality department. But yeah, it looks cool. It sounded pretty good too. And as to the reason, Trey, if you don't mind me answering for you, it's that the music is actually gone. It's because of Zoom that you're not rocking along to the music anymore, because for you're not hearing the music because we have to cut it. Otherwise, we won't hear each other speak. So I am looking into alternatives for this. It's been weighing on my mind heavily. So
you and Anthony.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get to a point where hopefully we'll be back in the same room at some point soon-ish. But
oh yeah, I always forget that's a possibility. It doesn't feel like it.
It seems like a very distant possibility. It's a dream. It's a light at the end of the tunnel of a very, very, very long tunnel, but it's potentially something that could happen. But in the meantime, I am looking at I want to get off the Zoom train. So, yeah.
In the meantime, we can all say blah instead of...
Yeah, let's just throw it in. Throw it in.
The other part, too, like you are right, JD, like the music that we're not really hearing. It's also like because of this setup, there is the tiniest of lag. Like you hear us every once in a while talking over each other, too. I think that's a bit of an issue as well, Trey. Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah, and I just stopped doing it as another thing, you know? I was trying to think, why did I really stop? I was like, I guess I just stopped at some point. Didn't pick it up. I didn't know anybody missed it.
Well, back when we were
Shout
in
out
the
to
audience...
you, Anthony, it's coming back.
Back when we were in the office, I think you were toning it down a little for the neighbors, so we would, because we were getting all those complaints. So that could be part of it.
A slow removal of the.
Yeah.
Wow. Will they still be there when we ever go back to our office?
They must be loving it. They're like, these guys are never coming back.
It's so weird to think about. We have an office. I actually forgot about it until you said it. We have a bunch of nice art up in our office. We have a nice office.
Yeah.
And I miss it. Oh, I miss it dearly. All right, next one. People seem to reply to Trey all the time on Twitter, and they spell his name like the Nintendo Ghost, despite having the correct spelling right in front of them. It's Kerby, people. So my question for Trey is, do you hate Kirby, the Nintendo Ghost? And for the rest of you guys, is there anybody out there with a similar name to you that you strongly dislike or have a weird bias against? Twist up burrito time, coffin. That's from Yo-Yo in Rochester, New York. What do you think, Kirby with an E?
I personally don't get upset with misspellings because my first name gets misspelled all the time. My last name gets misspelled all the time. The only time I'm upset with it is if I'm on the payroll and it's going to be messing with my money, or if it's an interview. If you're writing a piece about no dunks, if you're writing about something that I happen to say, put my name in there, right? That being said, I did refuse to play Kirby as a kid. I've never played Kirby's Dream Land because in our house, it's an E, and I don't care if you're a little pink guy doing whatever he does. I don't even know what he does. He sucks up balloons, gets a big old belly.
I have no clue. I never played that game at all.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot he was pink. He's very pink.
Very pink. Also, Kirby Puckett, no-go in the Kirby household. He also, destroyed Atlanta once upon a time. So,
does anyone have other names similar to you or that you hate for some reason? Weird bias?
I know I'm a little bit like Trey. I don't have a bias against Leigh, but I hate it if someone has to send me an email and my email address is Leigh and they have to type that in and then they start the email with an LEE.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how can you get that wrong, man? How can you get that wrong? But that's about all. Yeah, that's all really. I'm not offended.
What about that person you had to get her Instagram handle? You had that exchange with Leigh Ellis. Leigh Ellis. She had your Instagram handle. You guys did an exchange.
Yeah. I just said, because she used to get tagged in a lot of stuff, and she sort of sent it to me and said, I think this has all been for you, because there was a lot of basketball or NBA stuff. And I just said, oh yeah, thanks. And then we started becoming friends. And then I just said to her one day, would you mind giving me that name? And she was like, no, I don't really want to give it up. And I was like, okay, no worries. And then about a month later, she said, you know what? You can have it if you want. And I said,
wow.
Oh, that's really nice of you. And so we changed it, and now she's not on Instagram. She's closed her account. So we're no longer friends. Well, I mean, we're still friends, but
we're still quite close, actually.
Yeah, and it was funny. It was funny because it was about, I guess, probably, I don't know, 6 months ago now. I actually got a DM on Twitter, and someone asked me some really weird stuff, and I just wrote back and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And they said, and then this girl wrote back and she said, oh, this used to be my friend's Instagram account. So I was just sort of checking in. I was like, oh, right. And then we both tried to find her and we couldn't find the other one. So she's, she must have gone.
So now you're friends with her entire friend network?
I'm friends with her. But
you're in the wedding.
It was so great. We used to we just became friends. And she was great on Instagram too. She had some really good photos. She's lived out in Nebraska and... yeah, I don't know what happened to her. She just decided that was enough and moved on. But
you have the name, the Leigh name being a lot of women have that name as well.
Yes,
spelled like
yes,
that, and as men do too.
I went to school with I think 2 girls, and they both had the name Leigh, but one was spelled Lee and the other one was Leigh. But there was a bond. We were the Leigh bond, the Leigh gang, because girls got called, hey, it's a boy's name, and boys get, hey, it's a girl's name. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Skeets, do you know any Skeetses that you don't like?
No, I've never had this problem. Not with my name, no. I don't know. What about you, Tass? Do you get upset with people mispronouncing your name? I mean, that obviously happens a ton.
Nah, yeah, for sure. I mean, my name is Tassos, so that's a full name of my of my real full name, Anastasios, and Tassos the proper pronunciation is Tassos. So, Tasso. I've been called it all. So, sort of like Trey, I got no problems. Even Melas is my actual last name.
Right.
So, Melis, Tasshole, give me whatever you got. I'll take it all. No problem. We'll roll with it. It's a conversation starter because I got to correct you. All good. JD, you got any JD problems?
Well, there's a motorcycle racer out there named Jason Doyle. So I had a problem with him, but then I was like, I actually Googled Jason Doyle. And then there was this guy in Ottawa who's a stalker, like in the news.
Oh, no.
Popped up. And I'm just like, God, there's so many Jason Doyles out there. And it just takes one to bring us all down, Like,
right.
Well, you can fall back on being the TD if you really wanted to, though, couldn't you?
Switch over to Terrence, I guess.
Just go to Terrence, yeah.
Yeah, Terrence.
What'd you say you are again? You're the third, right?
I'm the third, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Then you'd be the South Park guy. That's
What what about though, JD, with your musical background, how everyone just ridicules JD in the straight shot. How do you feel about that? I mean,
You'll never be able to tour with a backing band called the Straight Shot.
That's right. I won't. I'm fine with that. As I said before, I've walked away from music. So James only can have JD in the straight shots. I'm fine with that.
shit shot.
Well, JD, if you go back to if you go to Terrence, then I will go to Philip. So then we can really be South Park.
We'll just change the name of this show to the Terrence and Philip Show.
Okay.
All right, a couple more here. What up, No Dunks homies? On Saturday, my wife and I went to a local pizza spot to grab some lunch. While we were waiting for our order, she excused herself to the restroom to wash her hands. When she came back, her eyes were bugged out of her head and she was pale as a ghost. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she knocked on one of the restroom doors. For context, this restaurant has 2 single-occupancy restrooms. No one answered, and when she opened the unlocked door, not only was a man in the restroom, she explained with great confusion that he was sitting on the toilet, backwards, facing the wall.
Oh, boy.
Without hesitation, I said, "Oh my gosh, you saw a Leigh pee."
In the wild.
Needless to say, her confusion only grew. I've been listening to the pod ever since I discovered the drop on the Grantland feed back in the Basketball Jones days. My wife, not a big sports fan, and has never listened to the pod. I'm certain she had no idea the podcast even existed. The rest of our lunch conversation involved me explaining the pod, the No Dunks crew, and the origins of the Leigh pee. On the way home, I found the Leigh pee episode, played it for her, and she got a huge kick out of it. 2020 just keeps getting weirder. I never imagined my wife and the No Dunks pod would cross paths. So my question is, can you remember a time that 2 unrelated areas in your life unexpectedly collided? Keep up the hard work. That's from Penny Hardaway. No, it's not. It's from Josh in Jacksonville, who also says Penny Hardaway rules.
Yeah.
Skeets, what do you think? Have you ever seen the Leigh pee in the wild?
I haven't. Oh my god! I mean, we've talked before about you go into a restroom and you open up a stall and somebody's in there, and because the door wasn't locked or it malfunctioned or something, who's more embarrassed? Is it the person sitting on the toilet or is it the person actually coming into the stall? I've always said it's more embarrassing for whatever reason for the person coming into the stall, catching someone, taking a dump for whatever reason. But no, haven't seen the Leigh pee in the wild. I would go nuts if I saw the Leigh pee in the wild. I'd be snapping photos. Oh my god, this is incredible! You got to come on the podcast.
Do you think it changes who it's more embarrassing for if the person on the toilet is doing the Leigh pee? Because I mean, standard setup. They come in, you're looking face to face. It's
Right.
embarrassing for everyone. But imagine how embarrassing it must be for the person who decides to do the Leigh pee during the day. As we've heard, you can never do it during the day for this exact reason. But they have to be like peeking over their shoulder to hear you.
Just 1 minute.
But it's going to get even weirder if the dude walking in pulls his phone out and starts snapping away, though.
I gotta tag you. What's your Instagram handle? I didn't know that. I don't want to tag the wrong person. Yeah, no, that's a great question, Trey. I don't know. I feel like if you're taking the Leigh pee in the middle of the day in a public washroom, you don't give a Kuzizi, man. You got so much confidence running through your body.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more embarrassing for the person coming in. Oh, wow. I will say my answer to this happened recently, where this like weird collision of two things that I love came together, and it was going on Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast, which is an extension of Rob Cesarino. He went on Survivor twice. I'm a huge fan of his podcast. Rob has a podcast. They do Survivor, like they're legends in the game. I know JD and Trey have heard him before for sure. They know who I'm talking about here. And not too long ago, Mike Bloom, who also does work with them and is a great, Survivor podcast himself and writer, he reached out to me on Twitter and said, Rob and Akiva are doing this thing. Now, they have a wild podcast where every week is something different. They actually spin a wheel to decide what the topic will be. And it landed on they needed to find Rob an NBA team to cheer for. He's a big football fan. He's a big baseball fan, but he doesn't have an NBA team. And with the restart, he wanted to pick one. So they asked if I would come on as sort of like the NBA expert and try and figure out what his team should be that he should cheer for. So it was a lot of fun for me to talk to Rob and go on with Akiva and help figure out his team. And in the end, guys, I'm happy to say, we got Rob Cesarino as a Raptors fan.
Yeah.
So he has joined the Raptors
Shocker.
Fandom. Yeah, I know, a bit of a shocker. It was actually, I was just there to lead him in the right direction, but he had a bunch of his fans send in pitches for each team. And there happens just to be a ton of Canadians that love Survivor and love Rob Has a Podcast. So there was a lot of good pitches for the Raps, and he ultimately went with them. But yeah, that was a fun merging of my NBA fandom and my Survivor fandom into one. And he was awesome too. And it was a bit of a surprise for Rob. I guess they kept it secret from him that I was going to come on. So he's a Raptors fan now, and highly recommend you go check that podcast out. Though I will say, you think we do long podcasts? That thing was 3 hours long. Wow. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I was still having a blast doing it, but I was like, God damn it. People listen to this? This is 3 hours long, man. Turns out they do. Those Survivor and Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast fans are loyal. That's my answer. What do you guys got?
Mine's reality TV related as well. Did not like Jay Cutler as the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Thought he was a bit of a sourpuss, but I love that guy on Very Cavallari back before his marriage to Kristen Cavallari broke up. There's a lot of reality TV that goes on in this house when there's not basketball on. So to see Jay Cutler on screen being hilarious and being an uplifting guy was very strange for me. But I guess it's over. I guess I won't be seeing it unless he comes out with his own show. What's up, Cutler? I don't know.
Is he still in the NFL?
No. He's just hunting and fishing and making jokes and looking sad, even though he's supposedly happy.
So did they explore the breakup on the show, or had that ended?
I don't think that season has happened yet, because they left for some island once the quarantine hit, and then they got they basically got stuck on that island with her two best friends and their couple, and spending that much time together apparently wasn't good for Jay and Kristen, because coming back, it's just going to be Kristen on the show.
Wow. Yeah, I guess it was working when he was out in the woods for half the day, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay. What about you guys? Tass, Trey, Leigh, JD?
I'll jump in. I'll jump in because you mentioned MMA, you mentioned long podcasts. I thought of Joe Rogan. I thought of Ariel Helwani. And I watched Ariel Helwani for a long time reporting on MMA. Then I saw him on an NBA sideline. You mentioned football earlier there with Rob Cesarino. I watched Lisa Salters as a sideline reporter for the NFL. Now she's on the NBA sideline. Things are just merging. And then I watched Arda Ocal cover all sports for such a long time. Now he's covering esports. I love me some esports. It just blew my mind seeing Arda Ocal / Kyle Edwards on my esports TV feed, screen, Twitch. These talented people just crossing over, crazy stuff.
When I started seeing Roxana, it was 2006, and Shaq was obviously still pretty good in the league at the time. And one Saturday afternoon, Roxanne and I were like, we were planning on meeting up that night. And so when we met up at night, we exchanged pleasantries, and I said, "Oh, what'd you do today?" And she said, "Oh, I just went out with some friends for lunch, and then I went out and had a facial." And I said, "Oh, facial? Was it served up to you by Shaquille O'Neal?" And she just looked at me and was like, "What are you talking about?"
I thought you were going to say she was telling you she went out for a pedicure and she happened to be going out with your mate, Old Eight Toes.
She was there the night we met, Eight Toes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I just dropped a Marv Albert on her and didn't really
was
know
she
where-
like, did you just have a stale special brownie? What the hell's wrong with you?
No, there was just a little pause in the air while she looked at me and then she just sort of carried on like, yeah, and then I did this and that was it. And I was just like, yeah, I'm surprised that gag didn't really fit with her. But I was really proud of myself to just drop it on the spot like that. I thought that was pretty cool. But
Hey, self, that was pretty cool.
You nailed it, man. A spectacular joke by me.
JD, do you have an answer for this one?
Nah, I'm not following that.
No? Okay. Hey, well, I thought you would go with the Survivor angle, too. Maybe Wendell coming on our show.
Oh yeah, I mean that was a big one. Yeah,
the most excited
that
you've
was
ever been
very
for a guest.
very
that-
strange
that's,
to have a Survivor winner in our office, our beloved office that we just mentioned. It was very strange and surreal to have him in there for sure.
look at the smile on JD's face in that photo too. It's like he's got his arm around a swimsuit model. He's just like,
It's the best day of my career.
Okay, well, we've got one more here. This is a bit of a surprise email that I'm springing on the guys. Let me read it to you. Dear No Dunks, I'm writing in regards to concerning comments made on your August 1st show. The topic of lice was brought up, and Leigh mentioned that he'd had it, quote, a couple of times. He went on to point out how easily transmittable it is, noting, quote, once one of the boys gets it, the other gets it, and then I've got it, Roxanne has got it too. This leads me to wonder if Leigh ever went into work with lice and worried about passing it to a coworker. Perhaps in a situation where he worked in a small office with 5 other people, shared costumes, masks, hats, clothes, chairs, couches, etc. Just curious, no reason, tin cups, hills have eyes, Baldwin. That is from Matthew Austin, producer of The Starters. Leigh, care to respond?
yes, no, it's a legitimate question, but I will say that.
Yes.
No, I will say the thing is when you find out you have lice, they are actually pretty easy to get rid of because you go and you get this shampoo that the lice ladies zip out of your head, and once they get it out of your head, it's pretty much gone. So, and also, you would need to be very, very close to another person to actually get it. Now, the reason why I get it is because I lie down on the same bed as my kids. You're in the car, you're in the house, pillows, cushions, and things like that. So in the office environment that we're in, unless you were like sort of, embracing one another.
Tap dancing around the answer here. Did you or did you not go to the office with lice?
No, because anytime we found out about it, we got it taken care of like immediately. It's not something that you sleep on and think, oh, maybe the lice will just go away. You go and because you've got to get rid of the eggs as well. Obviously, the eggs is where they keep hatching. You can kill because I've seen it on one of my boys one day. It was a Sunday.
Oh,
We were out on the. I know it was a Sunday because I called the lice ladies and they were closing at like 1:00. And,
Is this a business?
Yeah, it's in Atlanta.
A salon, the lice ladies.
It's actually just around the corner from JD's place. And my Oscar was sitting on my lap, and I saw a little bug in his hair, and I grabbed it. I'm like, oh my god, that's it for sure. So as soon as I see that bug and I know what a lice looks like now, I'm like, right. everyone in the car, we're going to the Lice ladies, and you're off. And you should see, man, those ladies are great. They put the formula in your hair, and then boom, 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 they scrape it all off, and then you're done. And it's great. So, yeah, no, I never would have passed it on to anybody, because if I would have, you would have found out about it anyway. It's not like a cold where you get it and then a couple of days later it's gone. If you got the lice, you would have known about it. So I wouldn't have spread that around. But it's funny though. It is funny though when you have a lice experience and you clear it up, and then a week or so later you're just sort of like, don't tell me I've got it again. Like maybe they missed us. Any itch on your head, you're like, I'm convinced I've got the lice again. But we have our own supply of the mousse at home to put in our hair whenever we get them now, so we don't need to hit up the lice ladies.
Holy crap! I did not think we were getting this much detail on this story. This is incredible. So you think Matty O should rest easy?
He can rest easy unless he all of a sudden remembers he had a really itchy head one time. But again, it would they wouldn't have just like gone away. He would have gotten to the point where it's like, all right, there's something going on here, and he would have had to hit up the lice ladies.
I don't know, man. There was nobody who liked to try on a hat more than Matt Austin. Anytime we would get a shipment of hats, that guy was popping them on his head, checking in the mirror, pulling it in, the thing. That's an easy way to transmit.
Yeah. But no, he's safe, Matt. Don't worry, man. It's fine.
So you don't think the following Monday after that Sunday trip to liceladies.com that you should have announced to the office, especially to Matty O, that you had a problem with lice the day before?
Yeah, no, because again, they eradicated immediately. It would have been kind of fun to just sort of. It would have been kind of fun in hindsight to sort of say, maybe guys don't come too close to me. I'm in sort of lice quarantine right now, but. Just to see him freak out. It would have been great.
I always thought it was weird those Mondays when you would just show up with a completely shaved head. I didn't know what was going on, but must have stopped at the lice ladies.
Oh, man.
The lice ladies are young. I'm surprised. Maybe it's because the way you describe them, but I expected them to be nice elderly ladies for some odd reason, but they're very young. They know their stuff.
Yeah, there's different technicians, yeah, man, those combs they use with those really sharp, fine teeth, because when you do it on your own kid, you're like a little bit afraid that you're going to hurt them because they're really pointy and they're so tight. But the ladies there, they know what they're doing, and they zip through your kids. I'm lucky. Fortunately, I don't know if it's any different for you, Trey, with daughters there and Tass as well, because my boys have got pretty short hair. So a treatment it only takes them 5 minutes to sort of go through their hair, but longer, curlier, wavier hair.
Well, this is why Matty O was petrified that you were bringing lice into the office. You imagine trying to take a comb through Matty O's hair? You can't get through that.
It's never been done.
House would love a master poop.
Yeah, there's no way. That's why he's concerned.
It's like a pillow top mattress.
God, they would love Trey's hair right now. That'd be like going to a theme park with a water slides and roller coasters and everything like that.
Yeah, Trey's got a real Coach Steve look going on right now. Okay, let's call it there. My God. Thank you so much for sending in your emails and comments. Keep them coming. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in at NoDunksInc, and if you're Matty O, just send them directly to me, and I'll slip them in here for Leigh and the guys.
I love the anxiety he must have been feeling when he heard that. You must have given me lice at some point.
That's 100% what he's thinking for sure.
It would have been hilarious if one day he just decided to came in and he said, you know what, I had lice, and then all of a sudden I was like, 2 days ago I think I saw one on Sebastian. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to get my hair clean though. And oh man.
Oh my God. All right, so guys, join us tonight. If you're catching this on Thursday, if you're catching on Friday, join us tonight as well. The bubble wrap continues. You can catch us live on No Dunks, or subscribe to the podcast wherever you download the No Dunks Classics, and you'll get it as immediately as we put it up. JD, thank you so much for dealing with the technical difficulties here today. Appreciate you trucking along here, and especially, credit to JD too for staying up late at night here to get these bubble wraps up. This is, a lot of us can just basically go to bed right after we're done recording. JD's got to put all the work in after that. So JD, thank you, man.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. It really is.
Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, all Lice Ladies technicians are professionally trained and have a minimum of a 4-year college degree in lice eradication. Okay, that's not what it says, but it does say have a minimum of a 4-year college degree and or equivalent medical and or science background. The lice ladies know what's up.
Brace the day, people.